Good evening tonight. Let's take a quiet journey together. Leave the weight of the day behind. Breathe slowly. Let your mind rest, like a calm tide at night. This is an old story, told in a time of marble temples and endless stars astray of prophecy, love, and the quiet courage that changes the shape of fate. Now, close your eyes, and let us step into the stillness of the ancient world. The night wind calm bed through olive leaves as Callista, the youngest oracle of Thespia, sat alone beside the cold basin. The water reflected a quilt of stars, except for Asmo, corner where no light gathered. The elders called it a trick of the eye. Callista called it a warning. Footsteps came soft, uncertain. At revela entered the temple court, a soldier with a dented cuirass and no insignia. He carried Abracon's spearhead wrapped in linen. I sought silence, he murmured instead. I found you. Silence lives behind questions. She said, ask one. He stared at the basin. What remains of enfrentan? Callista dipped her fingers into the dark corner. Of water? The chill stung. Memory remains, she said, and debt. The soldier bowed as if paying both. When he left, she noticed the starless patch had widened, gentle as breath. The city lit torches for Dionysus. Music rose, ripe with grape and laughter. Masks hid faces and loose-ended tongues. Callista walked, unadorned. Truth was her only costume. The nameless soldier, now wearing a tragic mask, found her by a fig tree. I lost a cohort on the is. Those who lived because I ran. If the gods want balance, they can weigh my shame. Callista studied the broken spearhead. He still carried that balance is not punishment. It's a doer, she said. Sometimes it opens onto the sea. A masked poet, drunk and smiling, overheard. All doors open onto the sea, he sang, for even the mountains end as sand. When the soldier removed his mask, the poet sobered. You are the man the rumor spoke of the king without a kingdom careful. Rumor is it catches truth and men nows alike. Callista felt the starless patch inside her widen again, like a hush after song. At dawn, they walked to the harbor where gulls threaded the air. An arrow ship waited, its captain a woman with eyes the color of deep water. I trade in passages, she said. My price is not coin. What then? Asked the soldier. A story you would rather not tell. He hesitated, then confessed the hour he fled the isthmus when the hillside flared with arrows. He left behind a friend named Theron, who had once lifted a cart from his trapped leg. I kept my life, he said. I dropped my courage. The captain listened like a midwife. Payment accepted. As oars bit the sea, Callista leaned against the rail. The wind smelled of limes and old bronze. The waves, forever arriving, forever leaving, seemed to offer a lesson. You can return without being the same. Behind them, the temple hill thinned to a line. Then to memory, they came to my Sene as clouds gathered like shields, the city muttered with rumor. The region had seized power from a Zikli king. A revolt swelled in the lower quarters. Callista felt the city pulse the way a healer reads Aris. The rhythm skipped. She and the soldier found shelter under the lion gate as rain dropped like pebbles. Fate is a rope, the soldier said. Pull here, and a bell rings far away. Then pull with care, Callista answered. Lightning veined the sky. In the glare, she saw the starless patch again, not in water this time but hanging above the citadel. A bruise on the heavens. The storm passed quickly, embarrassed by its noise. In the quiet afterward, a messenger ran by, shouting that the king had died in his sleep. The city barely had time to mourn before choosing sides. They left before either side noticed them. Fog lifted, and the sea gave them an island that did not sit on any map the captain owned. Goats grazed on terraces, ashering to no known. God tilted at the cliff's edge. The islanders welcomed them with olives, bread, and the kind of listening that lets Agus to breathe. At dusk, the elders told a tale. Once there had been Astra that guided lost sailors. One night it failed. Some said it was stolen. Others said it grew tired of burning. Callista walked ashore with the soldier if Astra can tire. So can a heart, she said. Then we rest. For a night, they slept in a hut smelling of thyme. Before dawn, Callista woke to a dream of broken constellations. Pour Ed into a clay jar. She tried to gather the pieces, but the jar was bottomless. Somewhere below the cliff, waves applauded gently for no audience at all. In the island square, a blind poet took the stump of Ocypress as his stage. He recited in a voice that walked without tripping. There once was a soldier who dropped his name in the dust, and an oracle who cupped the dark sky in her hands. They fled as sailed a bargain, and came to an island that remembers what the world forgets. Yet memory is a mirror. Hold it too long and it breaks. The crowd clucked at the omen. The poet bowed toward Callista. The starless mark above you is growing. You know why? She did. The prophecy she had hidden from herself, said Alwar, would end if one life were weighed against many. The life would be dear. She had hopped. Ed the sea could wash that away. The poet's last couplet drifted like smoke. What you refuse to choose, chooses you. The islanders went quiet, as if a wind had passed through their ribs. Their ship was seized by a patrol from a rival city-state. In chains, they were led beneath Africh, where heat lived like an animal. The magistrate examined the soldier's broken spearhead. Evidence of desertion. He declared punishment, the trial of iron. A brazier glowed. The The soldier was to carry a bar of heated iron 3 steps. If his hand healed clean, he would be declared truthful. If not, the gods had judged. Callista stepped forward. Let me bear it. The court laughed. The gods judge men, not oracles. The soldier lifted the iron. He walked 1 step, then 2, on the 3rd. His knees buckled. Callista caught his weight so the iron would fall on her palms. Instead of the floor, pain arrived. Bright and exact, she did not cry out. Later, the priest unbound her hands. Unbleached, the court murmured uneasy. The gods spare fools and prophets. The magistrate said, go. They went the air cool as forgiveness. They reached a headland where fishermen pointed toward the sun. Abbot sea med, taken from its edge. An omen, the captain whispered. The bite deepened. Day went soft as dusk. Birds bedded down in midair. The sea, usually chatty, held its breath. The solar disk became a ring, then a thin, mournful halo. Under the eclipse, Callista saw the truth at last. The stardust patch was not absence, but a shape like a hand closing. The soldier touched her shoulder. Whatever, that I away, let me pay it. Debts are not coins. She said, they are doors, then opened one. The eclipse began to pass. Light returned carefully. Like someone entering a room where grief sits, the world carried on. But Callista knew the choice had ripened. She slept that night without dreams, which is a dream of its own. They returned to the mainland, to the temple, where questions begin. The elders stood in a half circle, faces grave as boundary stones. The prophecy said the high priest names the life that must be weighed. The warranty is, Thros burns again, offer the soldier, and the fire will go out. The soldier did not flinch. I ran once, he said. I won't again. Callista looked at her hands, the ones that had borne iron without scarring, and thought of the bottomless jar from her dream. She realized the jar had never been 4 stars. At all, it was for choices. She faced the elders. Therazana Therafict. What? Wait. Mini! The hall shivered. You are the oracle. The high priest said, without you, we are a ship without a prow. Then learn the sea, she answered gently. At midnight, Callista walked alone to the basin. The water held the sky, as always. The dark patch now a clear, cup-shaped hollow. She spoke a simple vow. Let the war end, and let the debt end with me. A wind moved through the temple aquiot animal. Curious and kind, the hollow. In the water filled with light, not sudden, but steady. Like a candle lifted 1 finger at a time. Far away, horns blew the signal for peace. The fighting had stuttered, then stopped as if a hand unclosed. Callista did not fall. She did not vanish. Her price was stranger. A voice that would no longer predict. She could still listen, still love, still choose. But the future went silent to her, which is another kind of mercy. The soldier placed the broken spearhead on the altar and bowed his head. What remains of Amen, he said softly, is what he keeps. And what he gives, Callista replied. Above the temple, the constellations stitched themselves whole. 1 star burned a little, brighter where the dark had been, as if grateful to be found. The night, satisfied, closed its eyes. The story ends where the night began, quiet, steady and full of stars. Take a breath and let it settle. Tomorrow will come, with all its noise and weight, but for now, you are safe, you are still, and the world is holding you gently. Good night. Sleep well.